So, the idea that money makes the world go around is all very well, huh? A well-known phrase, a song. Money makes the world go around, the world go around, the world go around. In a kind of a circus jingle. Money makes the world go around. Well, going round and round, going around is revolution. Going around is revolution. Money makes the world revolution. There's people calling for a revolution. There's a lot of people calling for a revolution out on the internet. There's a lot of news on the television and on the radio and in the papers telling us about revolutions. Revolutions named after colours. Orange Revolution. Named after flowers. Tulip Revolution. But they're covert revolutions. They're not natural revolutions. That's not natural law. That's a perversion of natural law. A coup d'etat. It's an outside force representing these bankers. And these bankers are funding the revolutionaries. In covert actions. Now, your ordinary people only rise up against their government when they realise that their government isn't their government, that their government is against them. And history shows that when the governments realise that the people are on the verge of rising up against them, the government tends to run its own false revolution instead and gets all the people to follow their agents, government agents. In many cases, foreign government agents. JFK's assassination. That was a coup d'etat by the bankers to maintain their plan for war on the planet. Because according to Oliver Stone and according to anyone who's really looked into it, this Irish descendant Kennedy family didn't want to go along with the plan. And therefore they got assassinated. And the course of American history, the world history, was altered by that assassination. Well, apparently, the people who came up with the idea to assassinate Kennedy and were involved in the assassination of Kennedy were also involved in rocket science. It's not rocket science. Yes, it is rocket science. Involved in rocket science and seances and Aleister Crowley type black magic, generally called Satanism. Let's just call it an ultra-materialistic idea an ultra-egotistical idea. MK Ultra. When the Twin Towers fell in America, there was a coup d'etat. The military-industrial complex completely took control of government in an overt fashion and declared to everyone, okay, it's all martial law now. There can be no doubt about it. America is run by corporations and private interests. Whatever nice Freemasons came up with the idea in the first place have been completely gotten rid of. And there's only the bad guys left now. Like I say, to me, I'm not talking about facts. I'm just telling stories. I'm pretty sure I'm not telling fibs. I'm certainly not calling for any revolution by saying these things. It's just there's a lot of things that are not being said. And I don't mind saying stories that I've heard and making sense and having a conversation through an internet. I don't mind having a conversation through an internet. I mean, it is a big deal. I was to listen to fear. It could be a very scary thing or a very brave thing to be talking about these things in the open. Keeping quiet about things because I'm outnumbered. Keeping quiet about things because not many people understand. Or keeping quiet about things because word is, you'd be persecuted if you stand out and talk like this. Fair enough. The persecution is going on anyway. It's far healthier to be a storyteller who communicates stories and keeping things locked up inside and policing my own mind for fear that the dark side will come and get me in the middle of the night or whatever. Blah blah. Tis a strange thing, this life, it seems, of age-old repetition, of tragic themes, small-minded hatred and devious schemes, arrogant selfishness in old kings and queens. Yet here I am now in this life's time, cutting through metaphors and riddle and rhyme, searching through deception by cosmic design, reconnecting with divine guidance. I hope to align. My purpose is truth and love in life, and end to struggling and suffering in strife. Oh, where to find true love? On edge or point of knife, know how to enter Tir na Nog through sacrifice, marshalling an army to stand up for itself, returning to land in the realm of the elf. Pixies, gnomes, and leprechauns at work, sowing seeds in the gardens, while elves in kitchens are cleaning delf. So, pickaxe and shovel, bring bevel and level, there's work to be doing, there's trouble a brewing, there's demons in the garden, their hearts black and hardened. Fright, night, fight now must end, we must all now in delight transcend, and build our new city, no time now for pity, revelations growing brighter, vibrations growing lighter. Hunabku is calling you, release all your worries, no need now for hurries. The dream boat is coming true, space for me and all of you. So lift up your spirits into the sky, no time to wonder or even ask why. The dream boat is the saviour, renamed ex-saviour, whose present behaviour said, simply, be. Have your desires, take it as you will, the highest truth one may fulfill, and by the grace of God, for less than the weight of a feather, conceive a plan to bring the whole of all and one together, and travel through the pleasure trip along the Milky Way, then slip down through the murky waters blue, and back at last to Hunab Ku. Enjoy the ride and take your time, and when time's up, you'll see the signs. It's recording. You can come though, I don't know, up to you. Sing in the background. That was my missus and my baby. Anyway. That's enough for a short video now, 10 minutes. So I could talk about that poem and what the poetry is and where's the poetry coming from. I wrote that poem in 2001. I suppose it took 15-20 minutes to write it. And it's part of a fairy tale book that I wrote and published in 2001. So yeah, I happen to have written a fairy tale. I didn't set out to write a fairy tale, but I did. I was a poet, although I didn't know it, and then in 2000, I entered into an other world dimension, simple enough thing, no big deal. And therefore, creative mindset made it very easy to write a lot of poetry very quickly and to have a lot of insights. I was living in Glastonbury at the time, and maybe a lot of people in Glastonbury might call that kind of experience a Kundalini awakening or whatever. But anyway, in my own view, the experience of writing the poetry that I've written, to be able to write it so easily, to not have to edit it or correct it much afterwards at all, to know it off by heart without having to learn it. That's 13 years ago. I still know that poem off by heart. I still know the whole fairy tale off by heart. Well, down in Balcombe, on the first night that we stayed on the actual Balcombe site of the fracking, we were invited to sit and join dinner around Bex's fire. They were having potatoes and stuff. And we ate a lovely meal, and it was nice, man. We're all sitting in the twilight eating. And after the meal, Guinevere spoke a little bit from where she was sitting beside me and just said, it's very real what's going on here. The feeling is very real what's going on here. There is destruction of our Mother Earth going on here, I think were her words. And whatever about exactly what she said, there was pain in her voice. The pain she's been carrying a long time about the issues of what's going on the planet with evil taking over the planet and destroying life, type of thing. And so me, who hasn't been speaking that poetry much for the last 10 years, hardly never, thought to myself, I'd like to actually speak a bit of my poetry here now to help this lady Guinevere with the pain that she's carrying, that she's been brave enough to express. So I spoke. Well, I asked if they'd like to hear a poem, and they said they'd love to. So I spoke a poem. And what I said was, a ring-a-ring-a-ding-dong, ding-dong dell, here's a tale for a fairy to tell. The Return of the Fairies by Kelvin Patrick's Oberon. This was written in the year 2000, the spring equinox, just before the spring equinox in the the end of it was written at Stonehenge on the spring equinox, on the ground on a scrap of paper. And I've known it off by heart ever since I wrote it, so there you go. From those who remember to those who do not, here's a little story for those who forgot, of a race of fearless people, noble, strong and bold, who live as one with nature and never will grow old. Sculptors of the landscape and servants of the Lord, made into wee folk by Christians, we were mighty gods before. Gods of myth and magic, of heroic deed and fame. A hero's fate may well be tragic, yet death is but a game in a place before time existed. Before man's minds were even born, we built up mighty monuments amidst the hazel, oak, and thorn. We plotted all the seasons by the sun, the stars, and moon, and we built the very first temples, for we knew you would need them soon. For the day would come when we would pass on and give of our world to you, for it's there in the plan, make time and space for the man to learn and to trust in the truth. So we left you and waited. As your dreams accelerated. And we watched you and laughed as your progress you graphed. And then we have listened in anguish at your foul use of language. But now we come to celebrate you as you learn to vibrate. Now we come to remind you of the beauty inside you. Now we come to invite you, we come to excite you, to help you remember Tir na Nog, the land of ever living, ever young. For know that now your time is fading, and we have had enough of your trading. For no longer is there room for your hungers to consume. For no longer are there moments for you to continue nature's torments. For now we, shining beings of love, come descending from above. From within, without, and forever, we are come together, forever, together, together, forever, forever, together, together, forever, we have come. We have come to recreate our world anew. We have come to make all of our dreams come true. Children of light and Lucifer's babies, Templar knights and beautiful ladies. We've come back for our home, long stolen by Rome. We've come back to our womb, which you call our tombs. We have come back with our birthrights, our blessings and songs. We've come back to remind you, you've been sleeping too long. Release all your powers, release all your fears, release all your anger, make way for your tears. There is no need now for worry or separation or grief. The apocalypse is well and truly upon us now. Om. It is a sacred release. So make way for the true kings, the druids and queens, for we hold her powers despite how things seem, for we hold her powers, for we are her dreams. For we hold her powers, for we are the she. For we hold her powers, for we are the she. For we hold her powers, for we are the she, for we, her powers are the she. She comes from within and spreads without, and none can evade us, and none can avoid us, for she is Creatrix, the mother of all. Creatrix, Creatrix, she makes tricks with Patricks, the matrix and matrix. Nowhere is a story, a tale to tell, of how the ways parted between elves and men, of days long gone by and nights long forgotten, whose spirits live on though their bodies lie rotten. For spirits can speak from within the mind's eye, and blood carries memories which never shall die, but return through the ring in the age of Aquarium deep well-beings spring through the gates of eternity. There's two words or phrases in that poem that are in Gaelic Irish. First one is Tir na nog. Remember Tir na nog. Tir means land, and Og means young. And Tir na nog in Irish mythology or in Irish culture, to this very day, Tir na nog means the land of youth, or the land of eternal youth. And there's where ancient old Irish mythology and culture is the root base of Christianity, because eternal life is what the Irish mythology is about, and eternal life is what Christianity is about. And it ain't such a simple little idea, really, because we're all convinced about death of the material body, and a great confusion about anything to do with an interaction between the eternal spirit in a mortal body. But again, fracking is great because it's bringing up this issue. Because anyone who is showing hatred towards another human being while claiming to be saving that other human being is a fanatic. And if you're a fracking fanatic or an anti-fracking fanatic, you're still a fanatic. You're not going to solve things. You're just going to bring up more of the issue. You're just going to confuse the issue. So I'm going to say it again, yeah, all this anti-police thing down at Barton Moss is just trying to attack a symptom. Attacking that symptom is going to do nothing to stop that symptom from reoccurring. And partly why I'm bothering to make these videos and put them out there is because the vision of what I see from having lived the life I've lived, and from having gone to climate camp in 2007, and from having gone to Occupy in London and a couple of other places that I passed through, saw the exact same pattern going on as what was going on in Occupy in London. And when I've gone to Balcombe, I've seen the same pattern again. And what I'm seeing is that weirdo spiritual misguidance of the people who own the monetary system, of the people who own the military-industrial complex, of the people who own the British government and the Irish government, and the Northern Irish government, and the French government and the German government, and the Swiss government, and all the banks that those governments are associated with. The people who have a plan to do fracking all over the planet are the same people who have a plan about charging everybody for water, about building space stations in the sky, about funding Nazis, scientists, etc., to join the American team against communism, who built the atom bomb and all the nuclear bombs since, who started putting depleted uranium in those bombs. So do you make it that no human life can ever live in those countries? Because the radiation causes your offspring to be born with deformities that they'd be better off they were never born. So it's worth thinking of. And that's what that poetry is about. That poetry is about really heavy stuff, no matter that you've written in a way that's really life-affirming. That affirmation stands pure and true and untouched But in the midst of a world which seeks to destroy that affirmation, a world which has proved that the likes of me can't wander around just being a happy-go-lucky kind of a guy with a massive following of people all calling for peace, that ain't happening. When I first came out with that poetry, it seemed like that might happen, like an army of fairy people was going to come behind me and come along with me in the visionary fulfillment of that source of freedom that the poetry comes true. But that isn't what happened. What happened was loads of infighting. What happened was loads of people on pedestals thinking that they were pointing the way this way and that way and the other way. What happened for me was I could see that I myself wasn't fit to be leading anyone yet. I had a bit of maturing to do in my life. And the most of all the other people all around me who was leading people in various directions, well, we weren't getting anywhere is all I'll say about it. And I'm seeing a similar thing going on with this anti-fracking stuff. It's not getting anywhere. Exactly. I don't mean that in a negative sounding way. But to try and stop the size of the force that we're up against by going to the gate and trying to lock the gate is a bit of a desperate thing. And then to get sidetracked into hating the police is a completely desperate thing. And then with what I'm seeing going on the internet, people becoming bigoted fanatics. Well, that's divide and conquer. With fracking, what I'm seeing that's scary is that with every new frack site that opens up, there'll be a new camp. With every new camp, it'll be run by the same rules that were shared with Occupy and Climate Camp going back years and years. And to me, it's got infiltration all over it. At the core of the idea, it was an infiltrated idea back 20 years ago when the Wavy Hands first came out. And for 20 years, somehow, this Wavy Hands way of doing things by consensus and all peaceful means and this and that and the other is ultra-policed. It's policed from the inside. So that nobody ain't doing anything radical anymore. All anyone's doing is going on marches or camping outside a gate if they're part of the truth movement or the anti-fracking movement. Move mind. Movement. Move mind. Do you know what I mean? Will you leave some comments after this video, please? On the YouTube page, on the Facebook page, and do the subscribe and do the share, and let's see what we can do then, in a humble way. I feel sure that people being able to gather together and be able to be in peace in the same space with each other is the way forward. And I'm pretty sure that what we're being offered here is a replication of that. It's not that. It's not peaceful what I'm seeing at Barton Moss. I saw loads of peacefulness at Balcombe, but it was continually under attack from all these Occupy types, trying to evict people in secret meetings, for being able to hold peace. For being able to challenge infiltration. And for being willing to try and join in in the process of having one of these meetings with the Wavy Hands would actually be present at it with a good number of us that are not into the Wavy Hands. But I tell you, man, what happens is huge arguments. And I find that really dodgy, that a process that is insisted upon is democratic, and yet you can't find the people who set it up, and you can't find the people who are running it. That's the pot calling the kettle black then. Anyway, leave comments, please. Thanks, everyone. Bye now.